Over the years that I've been teaching, I've collected an awful lot of sheet music. So I've been cataloguing it as I go along, thank goodness, because I would never find anything otherwise. I've been cataloguing this morning, this little pile. 1986 grade 4, 1984 grade 4, 1983 grade 4. Now those were all for the same pupil. That was my mother. I was trying to teach her. Didn't work very well. By 86 rather, we'd given up. Keyboard Anthology, that's a good book. Strangely enough, all the music I've got here is published by the Associate Board of the Royal Schools of Music. And that's really no coincidence because I've always taught their syllabuses. Lots of nice music in there that I can use for various pupils. And then I found this one, 1963, grade 4. I hadn't reached grade 4 by 1963. I don't know where that one came from. Interesting though, because some of the music in those are still being used on the syllabus now. Beethoven, Stephen Heller studies. I like Stephen Heller. Graded classics, preliminary grade. They used to not use the grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was primary, elementary, transitional, lower, higher, intermediate, advanced and final instead of grade 1s to 8. So that sort of fitted in with that round about grade 4-ish, I think, something like that. And then I found this one, carefully covered in brown paper. I don't know whether you did that when you were at school, but I certainly did. My father used to bring home a great big roll of brown paper and we covered all our school books in it. But when I looked inside, it says exam book on the front. Inside, Associated Board, no surprises there, pianoforte examinations, music, 1937. Let's remind ourselves just how long ago 1937 really was. George VI was crowned king in Westminster Abbey by the Archbishop of Canterbury, Cosmo Gordon Lang. Amelia Earhart made her final flight that year, and the Hindenburg airship met with a tragic end that changed the face of aviation forever. So, what pieces were grade 1 piano pupils playing in their ABRSM exams that year? Now, it's interesting because the difference between grade 1 then and grade 1 now is quite amazing. This is the new book that came out just this week. I just took delivery of this week. And there are some major differences. In the 1937 book, you had 3 lists of 3 and you chose one complete list. So list A, B or C. In this one, you have a list A, B or C, but you choose one piece from each. So you've got 9 pieces to choose from, 1 from each list. And they have some other alternatives which they didn't have in the 1937 book. Also in the 1937 book, at the very end, there are some finger exercises, which we don't have nowadays in the current syllabus. I can't compare the scales because although I've got a list of scales in the new book, in the 1937 book it says reference must be made to the syllabus 1937 for particulars of scales, etc. required. Obviously I don't have access to that, so I can't tell you what the scales were like in comparison. But I have to say, Associated Board might not like it, but I think the pieces in here are easier to play than the pieces in 1937. First of all, let's have a look at these dreaded finger exercises in here, just so you know what poor little souls we're in for. No indication of how fast it should go. And the same sort of thing with your left hand. And then a chromatic scale, but not quite the whole scale. I don't know what that's about. Why didn't they add the other 3 notes? I don't get that, but there you are. Same thing in the left hand. And then this one I found quite tricky, both hands together. Wow. It's not even musical, is it? Wrist staccato exercise. And the same with your left hand. For what it's worth, that's what you had to do. The general idea nowadays in the syllabus is that List A is early stuff, Baroque, sort of pre-classical. This is more classical, and this is more up to date. In this one, it sort of follows that in each list, but not quite. Le Coupé, born in Paris 1811, so it's not quite a Baroque, classical and modern, but it's more or less trying to follow that you've got sort of variety within each list. Let's take the classical one out of the first set. And if we take, let's do Brahms out of here. That's the classical one in here. Let's have a look at a modern one from the up-to-date book. Kevin Wooding, The Egyptian Level. Right. He was born in 1964. So 30 years after the other book. Here it is. I quite like that, and it will tie in with the D minor harmonic scale that they have to learn for grade 1. They all like the Egyptian sound, and I like the Egyptically. I don't know whether that's tickly as in tickly. Yeah. Choosing one, a modern one from this book is difficult because it's already 81 years old. But there's The Lonely Cottage by Ivor Foster. Grade 1. You'd think I'd be able to sight read it at my stage without making a mistake. There was one at the end, but, you know, who's counting? Anyway, I think I rest my case. I think this is more difficult than this is. 81 years. I wonder what will happen in another 81 years' time. In 2099, will it be as difficult again as it was when George VI was being crowned?